So last week we talked about a woman that I had met that was down on her luck. And we talked about setting some boundaries and removing some unhealthy people in your life in order to not kind of get triggered into a crisis or trauma or just any drama. And I found it interesting. When I was done with this, my son wanted to go help this woman do her landscaping, which she had just ruined her trailer. So I was really proud of him that he was going to go help somebody out. And I got a call a couple hours later that they needed to get picked up. I just asked if there was something going on, and apparently she had went and bought herself a flask of alcohol and decided to drink while driving my teenager and her boyfriend's daughter around in a car and use a chainsaw to chop a tree down. So they got in a car and they almost got hit. My son said they were about 2 feet from getting hit by somebody. And I'm so fortunate that they are smart enough to not be so kind that you don't say something. They did not get back in the car with her, and they walked to a gas station and called me. But I thought this was a really good lesson for somebody that is a teenager as far as coping skills and which ones are going to have a good effect. Because this woman was already dealing with self-esteem issues, and she was very close to just not wanting to live anymore. In fact, that was what she had been saying, was she didn't want to live anymore. She was struggling with suicide and depression. So then going out and getting a flask and endangering 2 kids, that definitely made her situation worse. She felt really bad. But what would have happened if they actually would have gotten injured? That probably would have been the final straw for her, and she could have done something very bad. So, alcohol, your addiction is a terrible choice as far as a coping skill, because typically that is what's creating the problem to begin with. And you need to go through a suffering period where you allow yourself to suffer because you crutched with something that isn't good for you. So I had to do that with cigarettes, and it was terrible. For a couple months, I just really was not a happy camper. And it was one of the most difficult things I've had to do as far as a habit, but it was a good choice. And so I just kind of thought teaching my son that there are coping skills that will have a better result for you even when you're not okay. And again, that's where that don't do anything stupid comes in. Because while we have a lot of wisdom that we carry around when we're not okay, sometimes it's really hard to access that. So you just simplify it down to don't do anything that's going to endanger yourself or somebody else. Because really guilt is what kind of affects our self-esteem a lot, as well as our ability to set boundaries with ourselves and with other people. So when we can't do those things, we typically end up struggling. So I just thought that was a good point. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you can see more and get the notifications as well.